Oh my God! Live for real. Let me let me go ahead and check to make sure the audio sounds okay. Well, you sit back and enjoy the scenery. Let's hear it. Oh no, it never lets me open. Here it is. Let's hear it. It's working, baby. It's a great day to be a YouTuber. Yes, actually, for real, live today. I know it's been quite some time. I don't even remember the last time I did a live one. A lot of pre-records and weeks off and etc. But here we are. Savor it. Good Good to see all the usual, of course. Got to plug the socials while we're here. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary underscore Moyler, Moyler, YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. And here we are. I was in here the other day, just kind of fucking around, hanging out because I have the futon here. It's a great hangout room. Like this is the ultimate fucking hang room because there's just books and silly shit all over the place. So I come in here. I was smoking a doobie and listening to some reggae, like a real douchebag. But I changed the colors on the lights, and this one's getting these bulbs. They whatever it is that changes the color in them after a while, you gotta swap them out. These are not the high end model. Um, but yeah, so I couldn't get that back to blue, so we have a little red, a very warm color and warm look to the to the show tonight, which I think actually goes well. I kind of feel like I'm at fucking like the Copa in Goodfellas, or no, where was it? It was that like not the Copa. It was like that bamboo lounge, the one that they set on fire for the insurance money after they busted out. Fucking shame. Um, when Henry and Tommy are sitting in the car arguing about the Jew broad who doesn't want to go out with Italians alone, which is from the Five Towns. Um, anyway, we are here. We are live. What did I should probably look at the notes here. Um, Before I get on to anything, I just found out that they make panty. There actually will be an interesting transition for this, but I just found out that they make like panty liners for men. I was watching The Office, and I was watching it on cable, so thankfully this was not a targeted ad. But I guess they make shields. They call them Depend shields, and they go in the front of your underwear. And in this particular commercial, a guy was golfing, and they said this is one water hazard he won't have to worry about. And then he took a shot, and they used the imagery of him hitting the ball over a water hazard and onto the putting green um, to imply that when you use Depend for Men shields, you won't have to worry about urine dripping out of your penis and staining the front of your trousers, I guess, which is apparently a big problem on the golf course. I'm not a golf guy. Didn't know this, but apparently all these guys out there golfing on Sunday mornings, a lot of leakage. Which I don't know. I guess maybe it's like a prostate cancer thing. Um, I always, I always worry. I worry a lot about urinal splash. I experienced that for the first time. I remember when I was in like I want to say middle school or high school. I was pissing at the urinal, and I was wearing like khaki cargo shorts, and I was all decked out in my Abercrombie threads, looking fresh and preppy. My suburban high school, and I remember I took a piss, and I looked down, and I was like, "Wait, I didn't piss my pants. What the hell's going on here?" And there were like spots of liquid all over, and the next time I went to the bathroom, I deduced that that with the urinal situation at my school, I think I'm not sure what the problem, because the school had two different kinds. It had that one that went all the way to the ground, and then it had like regular fucking normal urinals. I forget which one it was, but there was some sort of splashback scenario. I don't know. I guess I had gotten to the age now at that point in puberty where my penis was now powerful enough to create splashback while pissing. And I remember being like, "Ah, shit." And I remember, like, I think my solution was to hike my shorts up and really try to pull my shirt down, so it would just buy me time to kind of cover it while it dried. And if you remember, at that time, shorts were a little baggy like they're wearing now, which I'm noticing a lot of like adult men are adopting this Gen Z baggy pants thing, which is fucking wild. I can't imagine myself leaving the house in a pair of very baggy, straight-legged pants at the age of 40 now, which is why it was disconcerting that there was a Leaks for Men ad on the TV. But then I realized I was watching cable. This was a cable spot. So it was for anyone who was watching The Office this afternoon, who might have bladder control issues. If you're a male and you have bladder control issues and you watch The Office, Depends is reaching out to you. But yeah, I crested, since we were last live, I crested 40. Well, I reached 40, but I guess once you are 40 and then the day after you've crested it. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really think much of it, to be totally honest. I got this cool hat. I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of partying and celebrating with friends from various places. And one of my friends was leaving for Iraq, and his going away party was on my actual birthday. So we were all, everyone was out, and it was Memorial Day, and then went out for various dinners and etc. So it's been more fun than anything. I think I quarter life crisis or third life crisis. Like my, time, tumultuous time was more transitioning from my 20s into my early 30s and kind of, having to confront actual, adulthood and everyone settling down and life not being one big party anymore, which it actually still kind of is, to be totally honest. I just don't consume substance in the reckless and dangerous manner that I did. Although it was fun, it was a lot of fun. I was reflecting on some of that last time on the pod during the summer kickoff extravaganza, I think I called it. But yeah, I got down the shore more now instead of imbibing. I mean, I imbibed a little bit, but it's more like now it's like top shelf stuff. Like we were drinking Belvedere martinis, and good red wine, and smoking Cuban cigars, and there was raw bar to be had. So it's still, you still celebrate in lavish fashion, but you do it in a slightly more upscale manner. I will, of course, it is the New Jersey summer, so I will be turning up at the Jersey Shore clubs, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I guess when I was growing up, to me, a 40-year-old was a guy with, horseshoe baldness, who wore a suit that looked like everybody else's dad's suit and carried a briefcase. And they got on the train in the morning and they went to New York City, and they did some sort of nondescript office work for which they were very well compensated, but frequently stressed out. And then they took the train home from New York City, and they would all get off in their suits, and some of them would go to coach Little League after that, and that was to me, that was my best approximation of what a 40-year-old was. Sitting here in a room with posters of large-breasted women and marijuana paraphernalia and various other things. A pillow in the shape of a giant turd, a picture of Cosmo Kramer, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, etc. This is a much more enjoyable 40, I think, than I could have possibly anticipated. But yeah, that's it. Here we are. We have arrived. But anyway, shouts to the comments section. Good to see you here. 420. Paul Crosby, live indeed, sir. Chucky D. Summertime at Sacktap Live. Indeed, no better place to be. Philly fathead, Semper Fi. Brother man, Semper Fi. Angelo, yes, hell yeah, we are live. OG, Bronald. Yes, thank you, Bronald, for tuning in on your radio dial. This is the audio version does wind up on iHeartRadio, but yeah, here we are. So much shit is going on. Like I have this, so I keep my, my show topics on this this notes app on my phone, and let me. I'll pull it up because I have like just this list of so many fucking things that that I want to like talk about. The Coast Guard had to rescue a luxury yacht with all these chicks with fat asses on it. There's this Get Unready campaign that's it's about promoting ugly women. They want to normalize ugly women, all sorts of shit. I want to talk about these things. They found 100 dead cats at Bohemia on Long Island. Some weirdo, 100 dead cats. People are mad at Patti LuPone, who I can't stand. She's a Broadway actress. I have no use really for Broadway, but she's always in the New York Post. All of these things. So many things. I think Tim Waltz's daughter called running a privilege, the act of running, the physical act of just moving your arms and legs. So much shit that I want to get into. And these massive, well, I guess, one of them is more massive than the other, I guess, in a lot of people's eyes. We have Trump breaking up with Elon Musk. But the story that I actually find more compelling is this crypto kidnapping. Oh, the Trump Musk thing isn't. I don't find it to be a bore, but I think people have sort of this attitude of we're living in unprecedented times, with the idea that the president is a rich businessman. And he's fighting with this, billionaire sort of industrialist, whatever you want to call Elon, a magnet, whatever sort of phrase you want to use to describe Elon. And I think it is, it's unprecedented in the fact that the entire thing is unfolding in a sort of minute by minute, and you're hearing it from the horse's mouth on like Twitter and whatnot. But I don't think it's also, I think the other element in which it's unprecedented is that because of modern media, these guys have taken on like an outsized version of what they would be. And of course, Elon, trying to fucking colonize Mars, and what have you. So there is that. But in another sense, I also feel like you take all you ever have to do when something like this is going on is take like a quick look back at history, and you'll just see again the same thing repeating itself. Like, it's such a very hack statement. History always repeats itself, but that is also very true. History does repeat itself. Like, throughout the annals of human history, if we go back through American history, right? To think that I didn't have a chance to dig into any source material. I didn't go through the the New York Sun from the late 1800s or anything. But I would imagine that whoever the fuck was president in 1885 at some point got into some kind of public feud or something like that, or if not public, then a private feud that was publicized in the gossip pages with like someone, a Rockefeller or an Astor or something like that. And if you go back to Versailles or any of these places, or even if you look at like the local town politics wherever the fuck you are, you have this kind of thing going on, all over the place, right? A falling out between whoever the local power broker is in the business community and the guy that he helped maybe fund his mayoral campaign, and then some legislation doesn't get pushed through, and all of a sudden they're at each other's throats. So there's something about the way that everyone reacts to things now. Like, we're in we have such a reactionary culture because everyone has a public platform and everyone has a little bit of main character syndrome, that everyone does have to opine, and it's all out there, and everyone is in the mix conversationally, I think, more than you would be if you were a fucking feudal serf walking down the street in strapped leather shoes and one of those pieces of cloth that they would just drape over themselves and then cinch with a belt. Their weird leggings, and they would just walk around fucking hooded with a stick and like a sack over their arms, going into the castle to do the day's business, whatever the fuck they were up to. That guy might have heard that the Duke of whatever called the fucking princess of whereversville a fucking cunt or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's all hearsay, and no one gives a shit what this guy fucking thinks, unless him and all of the rest of the hymns rise up and overthrow the fucking castle and overrun the guard and start cutting heads off. No one really gives a shit what that guy thinks. Now, since they're, every other shithead on the internet has a couple thousand followers at least, you opine on something, you can kind of get your voice out on it, and everyone is much more in the conversation. So in that sense, yes, this whole thing is unprecedented, but in a larger sense, the idea that powerful people have helped other powerful people achieve positions of greater power and are expecting to be taken care of perhaps in return is not exactly new. It's sort of a tale as old as time, if you will. Of course, I still, in a morbidly curious way, I'll still watch it all unfold. Now, some of it is more interesting than other stuff. Like Elon trying to kill the big, beautiful bill, not so much something that I don't care about. I'm not overly political. If I don't know what's in this bill. I don't know if it's big, if it's beautiful, if it's whatever. I'm sure someone could tell me that it's fucking great. Someone could tell me that it sucks. I don't know. I don't know if Elon actually wants it killed, if he actually thinks it's going to cause recession, or if he just wants to spite Trump. I don't know any of this shit. But when Elon's saying things like, oh, Trump was fucking hanging out with Epstein. This is why he won't release the files. And then Steve Bannon's like, oh, yeah, you got to deport this guy. That's when it starts. That's the interesting part. That's the Wild West shit that I'm here for. Is Trump going to call his bluff and dump the Epstein files? And who knows? So it's sort of a day by day. Let's see. That's the interesting part. Kill the Kill Bill memes and kill the big beautiful bill. Just feel more like the rantings of sort of an angry autist. But fucking, if we got Epstein involved, now I'd like to know. And of course, Elon Musk is a billionaire. There are people who will tell you that perhaps he was. So who really was hanging out with Epstein? Were they both hanging out with Epstein? Is that how they became friends? Was it not Joe Rogan who introduced them? We don't know. Will we ever know? Probably not. What about her story? Yes, that's true. Well, no, Wiedenhoff. This is Pride Month, so now it's their story. We don't like to. Her story is too gender binary. That's right, Pilgrim. I'm doing John Wayne. Everyone feels like their input needs to be offered, Pilgrim. Yeah, indeed it does. Well, I had mentioned that when I got the first thing I noticed when I got to Las Vegas was just the overwhelming degree of main character syndrome, and obviously there is some irony to the idea of a guy who's doing a fucking YouTube show for 15 people, criticizing others for having main character syndrome. I'm not blind to that at all. But it does seem like more and more, like you see it a lot with bridal showers or the what do they do? The gender reveals, shit like that. It's so self-aggrandizing because now time was you would hold a nice party, fucking, a bridal shower back in the day was a couple pink streamers or whatever, a couple trays of potluck like macaroni and cheese, some sternos, and the gals would drink wine out on the patio, and it was nice. It was a nice time. Maybe some mimosas, champagne, fucking give each other makeovers, whatever. Now everything has to be this sort of ostentatious display, where there's there's a waterfall and an ice sculpture, and it's they're real babies and they're peeing out of their genitals, and that's the pee is champagne and it's filling a punch bowl below, and then there's a make your own Bellini or mimosa bar here, and it all has to go on Instagram because the splendor is not actually for the people at the party to enjoy. The splendor is for the people who are going to see it on Instagram to be jealous of. I've, as a Caucasian millennial living in a reasonably well-to-do area, I tend to see a lot of this because that's like my social circle. I've seen them go through the marriages and the kids and stuff, and it's like everyone it's grander than the next. Like they're all just trying to make each other look like shit. Like I can't log on to Instagram while I'm actually shitting and not scroll past like 5 fucking gender reveals or engagement parties that were specifically laid out to make other white women jealous. So yes, that is the sort of current state of society, and so people have to they have to opine on everything. And of course, when you take Um, I think when you take something like, obviously Trump is the ultimate, or at least he was the ultimate conversation starter. I think now, like, I don't, after the election, like, I just didn't care. Like, my only real interest in Trump was that he saved us from the whole brat thing. I just thought that, to me, I just thought that was so terrible that whatever alternative he offered, probably fine. And I think it's probably still fine. I don't fucking know. Again, this is not. I don't. I really go out of my way to not live in a world of political headlines, because it's all it is it's just a rattling. It's like when you're trying to go to sleep and there's a noise in somewhere in the house that's just repetitive and won't stop. It's not a white noise that can help put you to sleep. It's like there's usually like a clack to it, like a maybe like a chain on a fan or something like that, or a fucking an asshole outside with like an idling vehicle. Just something repetitive and irritating, and that's what American political discourse became to me, between, I want to say between like 2016 and 2018, 2019 or so. It just really it was so strange how so many people were at that same time embedding their personalities in it, and still are. Like, their personalities are still embedded in it. I just felt like I felt like we shouldn't be doing that anymore, right? Like, the guy who was the big divisive thing, he won the second election. That's it. He'll do his 4 years. You like it, you won't like it. Someone else will be the president in 4 years, and then that will be it. And I'm sure things will stay reasonably divisive, but I don't. Again, I'll eat my words. I don't know if they can ever become. Can they ever become Trump divisive again? At least in the short term. Like, obviously, again, history repeats itself. There will always be divisive leaders and etc. But is it for now? Like, have we reached our apex of contentiousness, and will the end result? Because again, as partisan as it might be, there's a vitriol reserved for him on the part of people who dislike him, and there's a love for him on the part of many people who do like him, that it creates a massive divide. Does that divide become smaller if, Pete Buttigieg is running against fucking Marco Rubio in 4 years? That would be nice. It would be nice, because I don't think anyone can make their personality being a hardcore Buttigieg or Rubio guy. Like, they're not inspiring like that. But they could, by the way our system works, they could quite easily either reach that point. Maybe, I don't fucking know. But the point is, it seems like because the people who tried to get like way into Kamala, or the people who tried to get way into Biden, you could always tell they weren't really that into either candidate. Like, people were really into Obama. I don't think people were. I think there was a small segment of people who were really into Hillary because of the whole first female thing. I don't think people were ever really into Biden, outside of the fact that there was a sliver who saw him as sort of a hero who was going to take down Trump. I think Kamala was so sort of. I think they were really through their teeth trying to convince you, while trying to convince themselves that she was great. Like, that was what it always, like, they were really like the whole brat vibes and like, hey, look, we're having bigger like it just something about it. And then Tim Waltz and like it just something about it felt like they were trying to convince themselves. I notice every once in a while I go like this and it looks like I'm just fucking pumping an imaginary cock towards my face. Not the best way to make a point. At least it's one and not two. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It would be I think, very refreshing if we could kind of slide back a little bit, so that we don't have to so it's just not constantly in the air. It gets annoying that it's constantly in the air, that there are people who won't let you get away from it. Um, you know, like fucking, whew, boy, yeah, you're at a barbecue and you mentioned, yeah, this steak was a little steep, and fucking, whoever is there with an opinion is gonna let you know, and not in like a fun, like jokey way, like you know, a fucking let's go Brandon guy, or something like that. It's always the people who are fucking cool ruining an afternoon who really want to speak up. They can also, the only saving grace is that sometimes they're so nuts that they're actually quite a bit of fun to be around, because they become a sort of entertainment in and of themselves. Jesus, Jerry just dominating the comments section today. What energy. Rooster, good evening. Good to have you here. So honestly, again, like I was saying before, like there's a lot about this story that actually just doesn't grip me. There's a lot. I mean, again, there are elements that do, but like, okay, Trump had a falling out with someone. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. It happened. Um, the language might get colorful. That's going to be fun. But again, unless we get a big Epstein, like a legitimate Epstein document dump, or if fucking some men in fucking fatigues take Elon out of the fucking country in the dead of night with a bag over his head and drop him in a Venezuelan prison or wherever the fuck we send people, not overly compelling. To me, what is compelling is this story out of New York City, that sleepy little town across the Hudson. So there's this, and there's so much to it. Like there's fucking so much to it. I guess I'm trying to. I don't know that even the best way to go through it, because there's so much intrigue surrounding this thing. The crypto kidnapping. So the broad strokes are that these two guys, and possibly with the help of some other people, although we don't know, the indictment is sealed, so there's a lot of just conjecture going around. These two guys they're all crypto guys. They all have shitloads of crypto, lots of money. They lured this one guy from Italy to an apartment in Lower Manhattan. A luxury apartment, like $20,000-$30,000 a month, maybe more, brownstone apartment, big enough that it had a 5-story spiral staircase in it. Like these are big. They're like the kind of homes like Taylor Swift, Robert De Niro. Like these are the kind of people who own places like this. So they lure him there, and they kidnap him. A driver picks him up from the airport, drops him off at this place, and they I guess they zip tie him, and they're torturing him with all sorts of shit. They're electrocuting him, and they have saws, and they're holding him over, like I said, a 5-story spiral staircase. Um, and they're trying to get this password out of him so they can take his crypto. And he won't give it up. And eventually, apparently on the day that he believes that they're going to execute him, he escapes the house and he runs out and he finds a New York City, like a traffic cop or a parking enforcement officer, and tells them, and they get the NYPD, and the NYPD raids this house, and they find all of the accoutrements of torture, and it turns out that these guys are like absolute fucking characters, as one would have to be to lure a man from Europe and kidnap, torture, and threaten to murder him over his crypto code. You do have to be a bit of a character. So there are all these different angles, and I don't have time to go through all of the angles. There's so many. I have a few different articles open. Apparently, crypto kidnap mystery deepens as alleged victims' parents received texts, didn't know anything was wrong. So they got texts, regular texts, saying he was okay. He was using WhatsApp, and I guess surely this was the kidnappers. These guys, John Waltz and William Duplessis. Waltz and Duplessis, by the way, great fucking names for this story. And their victim, Michael Valentino Teofrasto Carteran. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I don't know if that's Italian or what. The rest of it, very Italian. But he was held May 6th to 23rd on Prince Street by Waltz and Duplessis. It's like a Guy Ritchie or like a Tarantino movie. They're texting his parents, or maybe making him text his parents in sort of the vernacular that he would use. They describe his parents as reclusive, and they only found out that he had been kidnapped after the kid escaped, and a family friend saw it on the news, which is wild, because they had also recently hired private security. And you wonder, they live near Turin, in Rivoli. They had a $1 million home. It's a very nice region in Italy. But you wonder if they came into this money very quickly and maybe didn't know how to handle themselves, because it's maybe the kid just he's just one of these crypto autists, and he hit it big. I guess this guy, a neighbor, said he had been traveling around the world a lot, and the family had they had no idea what line of business he was in, and I guess it's sort of almost like when in Blow, when George Young when Johnny Depp has Ray Liotta over to the fucking house for dinner as an adult, and he sees all the cars and the trappings of wealth, and he's like, taken aback, like, how did you get this money this quickly? This is a very, very nice house they have here, though. But apparently, while he was at this house, TMZ this week got these pictures of him apparently doing they were evidently drugging him, and and it's unsure of whether he was doing the drugs of his own volition, like he was, he was partying with them, or he was fucking whatever, because he was leashed up and he was tied to a wheelchair while they were having these parties. These guys were Duplessis and Waltz were apparently these huge party animals, going to all these exclusive nightclubs and again, ordering thousands of dollars worth of fancy food every day, just engaging in these very lavish lifestyles. Yeah, Will and John would order $1,500 to $2,000 in food every day from the best restaurants. They would get delivery from Nobu, Cipriani, Blue Ribbon, you name it. One day they had $600 of Blue Ribbon sitting outside, and no one even picked it up. Yeah, like Walt, who refers to himself as the crypto king of Kentucky, he claimed to have $100 million worth of digital currency. Of course, if you have that, it raises the question: why are you kidnapping and torturing someone for his crypto? If you have $100 million, you're doing pretty good. And I mean, these guys are everything the picture of who you want to be indicted in something like this when something goes down. Like if you know this area, if you live in this area, and you know the kind of person that Manhattan attracts, and the kind of people who are deep into the New York City party scene. Because the truth is, the only real exclusivity in the New York City party scene comes from money. It being able to buy your way into nicer and nicer places, right? It's not, there's not this, and maybe there is. I know there's an after party culture in bodegas and shit like that, but like, those truly aren't that hard to find if you know if you know 5 people who go to NYU, you can get to an after party, an after hours club in a Brooklyn bodega, no problem. There's another element of the New York City party scene where it's, either you have a vagina or you have a lot of money, and that's what's getting you in. And there is a degree of exclusivity to that, but it's the same shit is going on. You just might run into someone famous doing it, but it's mostly like these fucking creeps, like these crypto fucking weirdos, and fucking Saudi. He's the 5th prince of whatever the fuck, and the family just sent him to New York to get him out of their fucking hair, and guard the luxury apartment. Make sure the toilets are flushed regularly. But there's sort of a New York City shithead, and these guys really do fit the bill. He's being escorted out of the precinct here, maybe, or maybe out of his apartment. This is Waltz. He's in sweats, and he's got slide sandals with socks and a loose fitting V-neck, just white V-neck. And this is like the Lower Manhattan outfit, like the Lower Manhattan fucking pale white dude uniform. Like if you go walk around Tribeca or sit around Washington Square Park, you will see a million assholes dressed like this, and a lot of them are honestly, a lot of them are just finance guys or trust fund guys who are living in. There's so much wealth in New York City that wealth in New York City is not impressive anymore. So they're just these sort of dime a dozen rich guys who live in expensive apartments. and then the other guy is Duplessis. They got him. The NYPD is perp walking him. And I apologize for not using these photographs. They're from the Post, and they can be from what I hear, some of their photographers can be a tad litigious. So I try to be careful when using their stuff. But there's a picture of him getting perp walked, and he's got on a long sleeve Ralph Lauren polo shirt, white. Very of the season, sort of a nice late spring look. He's got the bushy, sort of windswept hair. He's from Kentucky, so very, very much broad-shouldered. The image of a Southern guy who came up to New York City to make some cash and hang out and rub elbows amongst the moneyed elite. Like he looks like every asshole standing online getting angry that the fucking Hampton Jitney or the Long Beach Island charter shuttle has not departed Midtown yet. Shocked if his wardrobe doesn't include a great number of vests. But they're perp walking this guy, and apparently these guys were partying like crazy. They had every type of liquor, $1,000 bottles of wine, $20K of liquor, Pappy Van Winkle. They were always smoking weed at the house to the point that they set off the smoke detector. And I guess when you're doing this, you probably it says here. Crypto king who allegedly kidnapped Bitcoin millionaire left trail of debts before landing in NYC, becoming big spending club fixture. So what happens is partying gets expensive after a while. You got to keep up appearances. You're trying to, the people you're partying with in New York, it says Duplessis, he owed hundreds of thousands on luxury homes and cars in Florida. Racked up criminal trouble in Switzerland for allegedly beating his fiance. I mean, this is like out of a Gilded Age sort of story about some railroad tycoon who's wanted in a couple countries. He can't go he can't go to fucking Granada anymore because he did some bad business dealings. But he eventually, this is Duplessis and eventually Waltz get to New York City, and they're hanging out and they're partying. They were hanging out at The Box, an exclusive erotic nightclub, where the Post obtained pictures of him partying shirtless. And he often roped socialites and fellow clubbers to his pad for parties. Yeah, so he's having the after parties, probably got plenty of fucking coke and weed and everything. And he's running up tabs, and he's living faster than he can keep up with, right? At least it seems. Like, have you ever cranked a treadmill up to the highest speed and tried to just step on it and run? You'll go flying off. And there comes a point, I think, if you're a member of sort of the nouveau riche, where that can happen, right? Because you become addicted to your acceptance in this sort of gilded society, and you want to keep up with it now. Once you've had a taste, how can Duplessis and Waltz go back to the farm, go back to Kentucky now that they've seen Paris, right? Or at least that they've seen Chelsea. It's hard. You can't. So what do? You're doing all sorts of drugs. You're drinking a lot. Drinking, as you know, as you drink more and more, it causes a natural inhibition towards anxiety and depression. And what anxiety and depression make you do is come up with harebrained schemes, especially when mixed with weed, to sort of launch you out of your circumstance. If I could just do this, if I could just do that, you're always playing for the next step. Whether again that's at a micro level, if you're just a guy who's partying too much and it's affecting, say, your social life or your fucking or your professional life or whatever. Everything is you're always just trying to keep up. Like sort of a lot of what you hear if you listen to Are You Garbage? The way people living paycheck to paycheck, sort of, but they're going out and blowing it all on booze. Sort of that ilk, right? That exists at every level, and when it exists at the lowest level, you may steal $20 from a roommate or smoke his weed or something like that. When it exists at the hundreds of thousands on cars and homes in Miami, and you're renting a $30,000 a month New York City brownstone 5-story, and you're hanging out at these clubs and $2,000 bottles of booze and everything, the stakes become much and much higher, right? In one instance, you crash on your parents' couch, or you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps for a little while. You can get yourself back on your feet inside of 12 months if you kind of put your nose to the grindstone. In another, you will be completely ruined for the rest of your life, potentially, or at least you will never achieve the degree of comfort or success that you would like to. Or perhaps you could, but the odds are stacked against you. And it is that point in the haze of anxiety, depression, booze, weed, and I'm guessing stimulants, and knowing these guys, probably like some Molly and some ketamine and shit, that you concoct the plan to lure an Italian crypto 100 millionaire, whatever the fuck he was, to America so you can beat his password out of him and steal his crypto. And then, that's how you wind up getting perp walked and your picture in the New York Post. It's wild. Wild stuff. By the way, these guys are in their 20s, their 30s. As I say with all of this stuff, if anyone out there, because someone out there knows these guys, Duplessis 33, Waltz is 37. They're in the age bracket. So if you know them, please tell me your stories. Trevor, I have to tell you, Florida, I would never. I am a New Jersey boy through and through. I am the biggest fan of New Jersey's beaches. I've been to beaches all over the fucking planet, and I have yet to find any that I actually prefer to the Jersey Shore. And I have enjoyed a great many of the beaches that I've been to, but it's the Jersey Shore for me. We do not have year-round palm trees at the Jersey Shore, but seasonally, a lot of towns do put out palm trees and whatnot around their boardwalks, etc. So we do get a little taste of the tropics. God damn it, Trevor! You might, if you're offering bare bottom spankings, I assume you are in the Navy. I have to assume. Yes, Joseph. Absolutely. These guys are what 22-year-olds in Hoboken think they are. The sort of we're hosting the pregame and then we're hosting the after party. But the after party is after going to fucking 10th and Willow or whatever it is. Fucking, is it Mike's Wild Moose Cantina, wherever the fuck they hang out? Yeah, I'm not. The older hope. It's very interesting because my social circle runs in like from like people in their 20s to people in their late 40s. But the younger crowd, I don't know. It's much more. I don't know. I feel like the older crowd, I think, actually has it going on a little bit better. I'm pretty sure the older crowd fucks more. Like because they're not as blacked out all the time, and they've kind of gone through the blacking out phase, and like, no, yeah, now we want to fuck. So I think women in their 30s are much, from my observation, not that obviously chicks in their 20s fuck, but I have noticed just dating in my 20s versus dating in my 30s. Dating in my 20s, sex much more a male initiated activity. As I went through my 30s, like chicks really started to hit their stride in terms of wanting to get down. No, Trevor, we do not have flamingos at the Jersey Shore. That is what we are lacking. I will live without the flamingos, though. Like I said, I'm a Jersey boy through and through. Roberts, absolutely, 100%. This is going to be a movie. I look forward to seeing it. And there are so many different treatments you could give it too, right? You could give it the darker, more sinister, sort of like a Taken type thing where, a Liam Neeson type is like, I'm going to fight, where it's really, edge of your seat at every turn. Or you could give it like the more fun, like a sort of, like I said, a Tarantino, a Guy Ritchie. You could do it more from the police, the NYPD perspective, the detective perspective. There's so many different ways you could do it. It could be a slapstick comedy where it's like these two buffoons, these two stoner crypto bros concoct this scheme to kidnap this guy and take his password, and all sorts of shenanigans unfold. Like there's just any number of different movies could come of this. Like, a buddy cop, Vince Vaughn and John Hamm as the torturers. Thank you, Trevor, for complimenting the Scream mask. I was Scream, whatever his fucking name is, Ghostface, whatever, Billy Loomis from Scream for Halloween. It's a couple's costume. Anyway. The Jay Moore Classic, Suicide Kings. Joe from Jersey. Where are you checking in from in Jersey, Joe? Is this Joe Piscopo by any chance? Sorry. Trevor's giving me a good chuckle in the comments section. Trev, go rub one out, brother man. Brother man. Jersey City. All right. Good man. Man after my own heart. A Jersey City boy. Good shit. Anyway. Working for the city tonight. Whenever I hear anyone say they're working for the city, And Trevor, since you mentioned the paddle, you will be interested. You might be interested in this as well. I'm a big Dazed and Confused fan. That is where the paddle comes from. Whenever I think of working for the city, I always think of the line from Dazed and Confused when he's buying the beer, and he says he tells the grizzled old guy behind the counter that he's going to be working for the city. You know, keep a little money in his pocket. And he says, "Here's a little change." Yeah, Joe gets it. Very good, Joe. Down in Greenville, be careful down there. Things can get a little loose down in Greenville. Yeah, here's some more change for your pocket. All right, fellas. It's 9:00. I have a poke bowl and a sushi roll to eat. I'm going to do that and luxuriate in the air conditioning. It is steamy here tonight in Jersey City. Good to have you guys here. I'm glad I was able to get back on live. I'm not sure what the plan is next week. A show for sure. I just don't know if it will be live or if it will be pre-recorded. Hopefully live. But you never know with the schedule, and sometimes the lady friend demands my attention, and she has a very stressful job. So at the end of the week, if she needs to hang, I always try to be of service. Get your minds out of the gutters, to be a shoulder to lean on, and make her some dinner and a nice glass of wine. Nothing lewd or ungentlemanly, of course. But anyway, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, MOYLER. YouTube, of course, Mike's Golden Streams, or just search Mike Montone Sacktap Live. That's where you'll find me. Have a good weekend, and catch yous next time. Adios, motherfuckers.